Welcome back to the morning show. Now we're happy to welcome the governor of our state of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be with you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You just came from Hunt School for March's Reading Month. Tell us a little bit about how that went.
It was great. I got an opportunity to read to 3 kindergarten classrooms. We read The Runaway Mitten, and it was so fun. I love being in the classroom. I love talking to kids, and I love opening it up for questions. You never know what you're going to get when 5-year-olds are asking questions.
You probably sometimes rather take the questions from the 5-year-olds.
Sometimes they're harder to answer than those questions of the press, so it just depends.
Well, reading to kindergartners is probably appropriate because with your new focus on education in your budget, kindergarten, preschool, pretty big deal. What is it that you want to do with preschool and kindergarten in the state?
Well, one of the things we want to do is make sure that every Michigander is on a path to a prosperous life here. Skill sets. And we know the science is robust that will tell us when we invest in our earliest years, it pays lifelong dividends, better health, more wealth over the course of a lifetime. So when a child comes into kindergarten prepared, having had a 4-year-old opportunity, it impacts their whole trajectory over the course of their lives. So universal, pre-K, through post 12th grade, 2 years in community college. These are the types of things that we want to make available to every Michigander because we know that being nimble and having real skills that translate into good paying jobs is the best way to ensure people can live the life they want in the state and make a good living doing it.
The free school lunches started with the pandemic. Is that something that's here to stay?
I hope so. You know, we made this investment this last school year. It has been really remarkable to hear the feedback from our educators, from families. This has been a big deal. We know that food insecurity is something that is not limited to one part of our state or another, one segment of our population or another. This is a real issue for a lot of families. And so by destigmatizing and make sure that kids have the nutrition they need so they're not worried about where their next meal comes from is going to improve outcomes. And it's been really interesting, the anecdotal response about high schoolers and middle schoolers. More of them are eating. I figured little kids, I don't know, that's how I was always envisioning it, but it's had the biggest impact in our older kids because they're not embarrassed to sign up because no one has to do that anymore.
Yeah, I think everything should be free at school. There shouldn't be a lady with a cash box in the office selling pencils or gym shorts. It's not just lunch, it's everything.
Yeah. We used to do a better job making sure that, robust, great educational offerings were universal, and that's changed over the years. And so this is our attempt to get it back to a place where the kids don't have the stress, that they can actually focus on the education, and that's why these free meals are so important.
Continuing our focus on education, you're proposing free community college for everyone in Michigan. How will that work?
So essentially, we've gotten our budget in a really good position. We have paid down over $18 billion of debt that was accrued before I became governor. We've built up our rainy day fund to an all-time high. We even created a rainy day fund for education. And our credit rating got upgraded in the midst of all this. So we're in a solid position now that we can make some of these long overdue investments, and recognizing that school beyond 12th grade is essential. You earn $23,000 a year on average more just by having that additional 2 years set of skills, a certificate. So to level that financial barrier so more people can get it, we recognize as a part of the Growth Council's recommendation and something we know is going to be important for our economy going forward.
So economic development and education, you're really connecting those two pretty heavily. What is the impact of a solid education system in a state toward economic development and job and population growth?
They're absolutely linked. I was, as I have become, one of the chief, sellers of the state of Michigan for investment, right? I just got back from a trip to South Korea and Taiwan. We want onshore supply chains. We know that semiconductors are in everything from your dishwasher to the phone in your pocket to the car that you drive. We need to bring those manufacturing jobs here into the U.S. and into Michigan specifically. There's no question that There are a lot of things that business takes into account when deciding where to grow or where to make a new investment. The quality of the workforce is paramount. It is second to none, and that's why it's so important that we are recognizing these great higher educational institutions, our community colleges, our private and public university systems, and working to make sure that have the skills necessary to do these advanced technological jobs, and that's really why we link them and why we talk about it, because business needs to know that they got the workforce to do the jobs.
You had a chance in Washington at the Gridiron Club to speak to the president and vice president. What were some of the topics you guys were discussing?
Well, that's not the place for serious policy discussions. It's kind of a roast, and they have a Democrat speak and a Republican speak. My colleague from Utah was the Republican speaking. We get along great. It was fun, but it was not the place for serious policy discussions. But be very comfortable that we're continue to always be trying to make the Michigan case with the administration, whether it is hubs, around, all the different investments that they're making through the IRA and through the CHIPS Act, or it is around hydrogen. These are conversations that never stop.
Yeah, and you also, I think in your speech, said you still had zero national political ambitions. Is that true?
Yes. No one believes it for some reason, but it is true. I've never wavered on that. I'm really I'm a Michigander through and through. I spent my whole life in this state, and I love it here. I've never been drawn to Washington, D.C. for a variety of reasons.
The Senate last night wanted to make some adjustments to your SOAR program, adding some emphasis on housing, education, childcare. Are you on board with the tinkering they want to do?
Well, you know what, this is the process, right? And so we will negotiate. I was pleased to see them move the economic development bills out of the Senate. Now we can really get serious about negotiating what the final package will look like. I'm sorry that it wasn't in a bipartisan way. I was told that there were a lot of Republicans who wanted to support it. I'm hopeful that in the final analysis will show that it is bipartisan, because the business community's been really working hard to make sure we're sharpening our economic development tools. These are essential parts of doing that, and I think it's important that we get the politics out of it and focus on really making sure that Michigan can compete and win. When we got to go up against other states and other countries, Michigan's got to have all the tools to secure victories. And we've had a lot of great wins, and the wind is at our back, but we need these additional tools.
Well, your staff was able to join us a few minutes early, and we brought you Hinckley's Donuts. They have dove into some of them, so we brought you a fresh dozen for the ride home.
For the ride home. Oh,
yes.
If I eat all these on the ride home, I'm going to need a nap. But I will have some of it, and I'll share with the family. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, nice to have you come to our studio today. Thanks for visiting Jackson and JTV.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
The governor of our state, Gretchen Whitmer. More of the morning show after this.